Wake up. Wake up, brothers and sisters, wake up. The king has had a dream. Wake up. Wait a second. Didn't we already hear this? Didn't we already do this? Yeah, don't switch the channel. You're not listening to last episode. This is the new episode, and I still need you to wake up. The king has had a dream. And if we don't figure out what this means, it will be the death of us all. You know, Brother Salim, you sound kind of strange sometimes. You sound a little bit weird. Are you stoned? Excuse me? You say strange things, Brother Salim, you know? I'm just wondering. Brothers and sisters, you're listening to Hot Conflict, and as you know, I do tell a strange story. I do say some wild and crazy things. I do sound like I'm on the fringe. A little bit ghareeb. But my thoughts are clear. My mind is not befogged. My words succinct. And although it seems like a wild, weird story with tangents that go up and down, everything is exactly where it needs to be. Well, they say, do you know what this means? I say, listen, I'm not the guy you're looking for. The guy you're looking for is Daniel. We are those who believe in the one true Creator, the Creator of all that is, who sent the prophets, all of them. He is the Creator who created the angels of light that serve and obey the command of Allah and do not disobey. He has created many other races and creations, some that have free will and some that disobey. And He's created Adam and the sons of Adam out of the clay and mud of the earths, of various shapes and forms and colors. And we are all the sons of Adam. And He has sent many messengers, and there is an afterlife, brothers and sisters. And your Lord Most High is the knower and seer and judge over all things. You see, Daniel tells King Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation of what he saw in the higher realms without the king even telling Daniel his dream. Daniel doesn't need the king's dream to know what is going on in the higher realms. The king wants to know what it means. How do we explain it to him? Because the message of Daniel, oh brothers and sisters, there are those who claim the final fundamental of faith, the final pillar of faith. There are those who claim to understand fate, destiny, divine providence. There are those who claim to understand the ebbs and flows of fate, the ups and downs of destiny, the good and the bad of qadr, khayrihi wa sharrihi, haluwihi wa marrihi, the sweetness and the sourness of fate and the journey. There are those who claim to understand it. And then there are those who truly know. Daniel tells King Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation of the dream years before things get really bad. He tells him, you must change your wicked ways and end what you are doing. Chop it down from the root and start over. Or this will end badly for us all. Oh, magical and mystical things happen. They see the very hand of God working by divine providence in the court of Nebuchadnezzar, and still they do not believe. Well, does anyone actually see the hand of God? Of course not. The hand of the Lord is over the hand of those who act in his name. Yad L'Allahi Fawqa Aydihim, as we say, for those who understand what kind of level a story we're dealing with here. So what are you talking about? This sounds really crazy, brother. We don't understand what Daniel's talking about, even though the interpretation of Daniel applies till now. Will the royal families? Will the kings and queens? Will the potentates of notables and those who think that their blood is more royal than those who serve them? Will they understand the meaning of the words that Daniel spoke? Or have they still not figured it out? And is the Babylonian Empire, the ancient Roman Greeks, the ancient false gods of the past, are they still active today? Daniel delivers the message long before he is ever thrown in the lion's den, brothers and sisters. Well, let's go back to the main story. You see, here I am, I'm in the States, it's the 90s, and I'm trying to figure out what's really going on. And people who are listening to the show are saying, wait, Brother Sleep, you just can't drop bombs like that and some of the crazy stuff that you just said, and you need to tell us what you mean. We don't understand. You actually went to a Masonic lodge? What is the secrets of Freemasonry, then? Well, you see, the truth, like all truths, is a little more complex. You see, everybody on the news and in the media is saying the Muslims are your enemy, you're at war with Islam, and we who are Muslims are telling you, of course, that's not true. We're not all evil. Of course, there are people who are committing crimes, and they should be considered criminals. And that is the case for all groups, all creeds, all nations, all races, all tongues, all colors. From all the sons of Adam, everywhere, in every world of physicality, on every planet. Actually, this is the case for all tribes of the other races, those who we would call the jinns, who also have free will. They are mixed of groups, some who are more righteous and some who are forgetful, and some that are dastardly evil beings who knowingly reject the truth and the light and do evil and abominable acts. So what's really going on? You see, the truth of the fact is that if you walk into any masjid, even in the United States or anywhere in the Middle East, 99% of the people are average, hard-working, family people going about their daily business, coming in for 5 or 10 minutes to pray to the Lord Most High and get a little bit of peace of mind. And they're doing better than the rest of the people who aren't even coming into their mosques, churches, synagogues, or places of worship or temples. But the reality is that 99% of the people in every group don't have any real knowledge about the fundamentals of the tenets of their own faith, no matter which group or organization they belong to. My name's Salim Siddiqui, and I'm just a guy like everybody else. I'm just a son of Adam. I make mistakes. I sin. I forget. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm totally confused. And here I am. It's the late 90s. I've gone everywhere. I've looked everywhere. I've searched everywhere. I've gone around the different countries to the old school places and try and learn the knowledge and speak to the scholars directly. I've studied the old original texts and I've learned some basics, like the truth of the matter that if you really want to understand what is really going on, you have to go back to the original sources. You have to really go back and study source material. Study, as we would say in Islam, the Salaf Salih, the pious predecessors, the founding brethren, the founding community, the founding companions, the founding forefathers of our faith that were the first noble generations. And read the original text of the Prophet and read the original language of the Quran. And so I went to go study the original language to get that for myself. So now I had the access, right? I could avoid the spin and avoid the confusion that comes from whitewashing and rewashing and reanalyzing and translations and abridgments and translations of translations. And some of the problems that we know occurred with many other of the Holy Scriptures that were sent with many of the other messengers throughout all of time. You see, it is important, brothers and sisters, those of you who are in the West, to recognize and understand why we have madrasas or Quranic teaching schools all over the world, where from cover to cover, word for word, letter for letter, the ancient text of the spoken word of the Prime Creator, as spoken by the Archangel Gabriel, delivered to the final messenger, Muhammad, is preserved. And the Quran, the ancient recital, the ancient reading, the ancient channeling, has been preserved in the hearts of the Muslims, cover to cover, word for word, unadulterated in the original form, in the original vibration, in the original sound and harmony of the very Creator who spoke the word. Oh yes, brothers and sisters, no matter where I might have gone and no matter what lodge or group or ancient study or craft I might have learned, do not ever forget that I am a follower of the Prophet Muhammad. Those who have the Quran, the very word of the Creator of all that is. And we are those who follow the Master of Masters. And it is He who has been given the way, the Sunnah, that which in the West the Master Masons call the craft. But you see, brothers and sisters, I'm just a confused kid. I've gone into a Master Mason's lodge, just like I've gone into a masjid, just like I've gone to the very Kaaba itself, and I found that most people don't have a clue about what they're talking about. And the same is true for most Masons. Now, that doesn't mean they're evil or they're bad people. No, they're good people trying to understand the truth and going about their daily lives. And if they get a chance, they come in once in a while to a lodge, just like somebody comes in once in a while to a mosque or a church and maybe volunteers and maybe does a little bit of help and teaches people for those who have a little bit more understanding, and life goes on.